Hi, my name is Gerhard Gschwandtner, and welcome to the Sales Up Shop. Today we're broadcasting from Fredericksburg, Virginia.
Hi, I'm David Raab, principal of Raab Associates, consultants in marketing. Right now we're in Swarthmore, Pennsylvania.
I am Jeff Ogden. I'm the president of the demand generation company Find New Customers, and I also host a pretty popular TV show called Marketing Made Simple TV, and one of our other guests here has been a guest on my show, so I'm glad to see him again. And I'm located on Long Island, New York.
I'm Jeff Hayzlett. I'm the CEO of the Hayzlett Group in Tallgrass Public Relations. I'm an author of numerous bestsellers. And yes, I have been on Jeff Ogden's show, and actually I've worn my cowboy hat, which I like to say that I'm the better-looking Jeff, but I don't want to put him down. But I have been on the show, and I'm calling you from my office in New York. We have offices in New York, L.A., San Francisco, and Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Because we can.
Let's start the show with a quick clip, and we are seeing here Phil Fernandez at Dreamforce.
We saw, basically as we created Marketo, that there was just this gigantic piece of white space. So what was happening was that power was shifting from sellers to buyers. Buyers who could go online, who could ask their friends on Facebook, were becoming the drivers of the sales exchange, right?
Absolutely.
And that's changing the job of sales and marketing. What it's doing is making the job of the marketer much more important than it ever was before, because marketers find buyers online and they have to give leads to sales. That's historically been a source of a fight between sales and marketing, but at the best companies it's now love, right, where sales and marketing are working together, and it causes companies to grow much faster than their peers when they can pull them.
Where does Marketo fit within the Marketing Cloud as Salesforce users and customers move forward?
Well, I think the Marketing Cloud, as I understand it, is still evolving in terms of how it fills out the entire marketing space.
Sure.
And marketing is huge. We're that core marketing platform, right, that is the database of record. We track emails, we track social activities, we track web visits, we track webinar attendance. All the people that we scan here at our booth will go into the marketing database of Marketo. So we sort of are that broad platform. We integrate with Salesforce. So 85% of our global customers are Salesforce customers working together. And so we essentially extend Salesforce all the way through the marketing organization and tie into all the channels like a Buddy Media or other things that you guys have now made part of the marketing cloud.
I'm asking myself the question, is marketing more an art or a science?
I think it's a little bit of both, and it depends on what you're looking at it. You can't just take it as a whole. There are some things I think where it's more of an art with the knowing and the how and the intuition of those things that you typically do that have been around a lot of the brand kinds of discussions that we've had. But when you start getting into this data question now, you're seeing a lot more around the data, and that's getting to more and more of the science of marketing and the way in which you extract it, and then how to do all of these campaigns, especially when it comes to digital. And that's what Marketo, Eloqua, Let's Go Primo, Unica, and we can make a whole long list of those companies that are out there trying to capture that marketing desktop or that marketing workflow. And so it's a little bit of both. You still can't just, have the science turned on and have it do it. You've got to have somebody who's got to think through why and how and to who you're going to go out and do this for. So that's a little bit of both.
Jeff Ogden, what's your take on this?
Yeah, I thought Phil talked a lot about how the balance of power has shifted to buyers rather than sellers, and that's absolutely true. A little bit of what I think is going on, the marketing automation, revenue performance management, is these guys keep leapfrogging each other, right? And they keep coming out with new capabilities. And no matter who you talk to, they all sound like they have the greatest thing since sliced bread. And I think it's a little bit about like buying a pair of golf clubs, right? You can go out and buy this really expensive set or this expensive set. But I suck at golf. And buying the most expensive clubs is not going to make me a better golfer. So it takes a lot more than software to be a great marketer.
So what you're saying is if you suck at marketing, automation is not going to help you.
You're going to suck faster. Yes.
I have a great line. I tell people if you suck offline, you're going to suck online. So it's the same thing, right? There's no difference. Even if the science will just help you suck faster. That's all.
One of my guests on Marketing Made Simple TV also said, Jeff, is that social media is the great amplifier. If you're great everyone knows you're great. And if you suck, everyone knows you suck. So,
good point. Good point.
So let's hear from David Raab. What is your take? There are so many programs now on the market. You are doing a lot of work in making comparisons between those software pieces. Is there anyone that stands out?
Well, they all have their strengths and weaknesses. There's really no other way to put it. And it's more a matter of finding the tool that meets your particular set of requirements than it is to say one is best. You know, it's like, what's the best car? Well, it depends on what kind of driving you're going to do. So, but I certainly agree, and there's no question whatsoever that it doesn't solve your problem. It lets you be more efficient at what you want to do, but if you don't know what you want to do, then again, it's like the car. You can drive in circles faster, but you're not really going to get any place unless you kind of know where you want to go with these things. So that's, it's a tool. That's all it is.
I've recently heard a speech from the CMO of Coca-Cola, and he says during a certain period of time, Coca-Cola gets about 140 million mentions on the internet, and only 20 million of them are initiated by Coca-Cola. So he's more interested in expressions rather than impressions. What's your take on that, Jeff Hayzlett?
Well, I mean, I think that's a good way to take a look at it, but at the same time, you also want some of that outbound because you want to try to convert and engage. And so it's not just a one-way street. It's really about listening to those engagements that you're having with those folks. And so I think the user content that's done, and you can look at others. You know, I work a lot with a company called Live World, which does moderation of these online communities for major brands where they have like 25 million followers on Facebook, and you have to have someone that's doing both of those because you just can't have the community. You want to inject sometimes you want to keep it on track, or at least you'd like to see it going. Doesn't mean you can control it, but you certainly want to have some input on that. So it's more than just what the crowd says it is, because in essence you still own the secret formula of Coca-Cola, and you still want to maintain, its integrity. So you want to make sure you're helping to influence that community, or at least engage with them, and I think that's important.
Jeff Ogden, what is your take on creating customer advocates?
Yeah, I think that's. I think it's very important to have customer advocates. And one of the concepts, one of the guests on my show was Robin Phillips of Brains on Fire, and they're a word-of-mouth marketing company. And they had a very simple idea, is become fans of your fans. And it costs absolutely nothing. But if you've got a passionate customer that loves your company, celebrate them, celebrate your customers, and people like to be recognized anyway. And I have got, on my show, I've got these people that I call my rock stars, and I congratulate them all the time, and they promote the hell out of my show. So it's a simple idea, and it doesn't cost anything. So yes, you should have customer advocates, but promote your customers, and they become your advocates. Don't ask them to be an advocate.
Yeah, raving fans are a good thing. Raving, and I'm talking about raving good in terms of they love you, and raving that they don't like some of the stuff that you do because they're still raving fans, and that's the key point. And even if it's negative, I want to know that. I want to know that so I can change it, alter it, make it. That's what it's about.
And I think the important part is to realize that this stuff is generated by what the company does in its business. And there are several companies I'm a raving fan of because they've given me fabulous service, not because they've been nice to me or anything else. And even if they give me bad service and they're nice to me, it really doesn't matter because they've still given me bad service. And the good news kind of is, ironically, the companies that I am actually fans of are the ones that are in industries that are noted for terrible service. So when somebody does it right, it really stands out. And that's where it has to start. It has to start with a true commitment to serving your customers well, and then you do all the fan things on top of that to take advantage of the goodwill that you've built up.
Marketing is about values. This is a very complicated world. It's a very noisy world. And we're not going to get a chance to get people to remember much about us. No company is. And so we have to be really clear on what we want them to know about us. But even a great brand needs investment and caring if it's going to retain its relevance and vitality. And the Apple brand has clearly suffered from neglect in this area in the last few years. And we need to bring it back. The way to do that is not to talk about speeds and feeds. It's not to talk about MIPS and megahertz. It's not to talk about why we're better than Windows. The dairy industry tried for 20 years to convince you that milk was good for you. It's a lie, but they tried anyway. And the sales were going like this. And then they tried Got Milk, and the sales are going like this. Got Milk doesn't even talk about the product. Matter of fact, it focuses on the absence of the product. But the best example of all, and one of the greatest jobs of marketing the universe has ever seen is Nike. Remember, Nike sells a commodity. They sell shoes. And yet, when you think of Nike, you feel something different than a shoe company. In their ads, as you know, they don't ever talk about the product. They don't ever tell you about their air soles and why they're better than Reebok's air soles. What does Nike do in their advertising? They honor great athletes and they honor great athletics. That's who they are. That's what they are about.
Jeff, now that you have sort of evoked the memory of Steve Jobs, and what is the core idea here? How would you channel Steve Jobs today and apply his insight to brilliant marketing?
Well, I think he's saying, in essence, be what you are. That is, the brand is nothing but a promise delivered. So what's the promise that you want to deliver? That's what makes Apple so good. I mean, when I talked about people with Apple, and I wasn't an Apple fan until the last couple of years, I didn't go over to the dark side, so to speak, and buying the products, but now I use it because here's what's cool about Apple. You press a button, it comes on. It works. You take stuff out of the box, you plug it in, it works automatically with the things it does. That you don't have that experience with the typically the PC world with drivers and making this go and this go and this go. And what he was saying, the essence of is deliver your brand promise. If you say you're going to deliver the sexiest, good-looking product, do it. Make sure the design looks that way. And if you're going to say that it's going to work flawlessly, make it work flawlessly. I think that's the basis of what he always offered and what he always stood for.
David?
Now I go further. Even if you don't say it's going to work flawlessly, it still should work flawlessly. And everything, we just kind of expect stuff to work, and at this point, if it doesn't, we think maybe there's something else out there that will. That's not even a brand promise. That's just a given. Stuff should work. And if it doesn't work, you're going to have a lot of unhappy customers. And again, it's not going to matter how good your social media is. They're going to be unhappy and they're going to be vocal about it. So you got to fix that.
Yeah, but if you're buying, David, if you're buying that product at a cheaper product and you're getting it almost too good to be true, well, the damn thing shouldn't work, and it's not going to work, and it never will work. And what did you expect when you bought the Yugo over the Cadillac? I mean, it's a big difference. Yeah, I got their cars. You can turn one of them on, probably turn them both on, but it ain't going to run the way the other one does. And I think that's the difference. And it's about setting that expectation. And I think that's the other thing I think Apple did very well. Especially when they first started marketing, less so now, is they said, we're only for this group, we're only for this people, we're only for the cool folks, or these. I mean, that's kind of how they first started marketing. Now they're going more market across the market. Now they got a tougher job, I think, now, because you've got companies like Samsung and others who are coming at their throats and are doing it right and delivering another product, Android, that does deliver that brand promise and does work and has some cool features where you don't even have to touch the screen. That's pretty cool.
Jeff Ogden, do you think that the era of feature benefit selling is over?
Yeah. I think it ended a long time ago, but yes. I mean, I think David Meerman Scott said it right when he said, nobody cares about your products and services except you. Customers don't care about your products and services. You have to solve problems today. And the bigger the problem, the more margin you can command for it. So I think more and more we need to solve problems and serve people and educate people and engage with people. And as Jeff said, when there's conversations going out on social media about your brand, jump in at the right time and participate in the conversations, become part of the conversations. So I think the whole world of marketing and sales has been turned upside down in recent years.
Excellent. Well, thank you, gentlemen. That was a very informative session.